Today we're taking a look at the $6 Million Man, so let's check him out. Okay, so I'm having to hold my camera up a little bit because, this figure's kind of tall. It's kind of leaning backwards too there a little bit. But if I try to put it all the way down here, as you can see, it doesn't get a very good angle. So that's why I'm having to hold my tripod up. So it might be a little bit shaky. But anyway, this is the $6 Million Steve Austin Bond Man figure, first released in 1975 by Kenner. And now they did make a lot more of these figures. And unfortunately, this is the only one I have. So and I do not have the packaging for this, obviously, because this is an old figure from the 70s, and a lot of times, packaging didn't survive back then, so I don't, have a lot of packaging for old toys like this. But so let's, get into his accessories. So the one accessory this, particular version comes with is this engine block, and as you can see, not a whole lot of paint details on here. This is from the 70s, so I mean, it's not going to be up to collector standards like today. But as you can see, it's got, the top of it silver with the red bottom on it. It's also got the copyright information line 1975 General Mills. And he can hold on to this, and he's supposed to be able to lift this up with his arm. And to demonstrate this, I'm going to use an extra one I have here, and I'm doing that for a reason. And I'll explain why here. We'll go over the details. So you can put it in his arm like this. And he has a button on his back that you're supposed to be able to mash, and he's supposed to lift the engine up. But this one's not quite working, and I think there's something broken in his back or something in this extra figure. So unfortunately, I won't be able to demonstrate that. And my good figure, I'm not going to demonstrate with, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. So for his articulation, he has a swivel at the head, a hinge there at the shoulder. Although this is the later version of this figure, the early edition, like this extra figure I got here, has a lot better arm articulations. I don't know why they changed it exactly, but that's actually it comes out a lot more than the later version right there. So he's got a swivel at the waist. He's got a bend in each elbow. He's like I said, swivel at the waist, swivels at both legs, and bend at each knee, and a bend at each ankle. No ankle pivot or anything like that. So let's take a look at the sculpt, design, and color of Steve Austin here, starting with his head. And you can see the likeness is actually fairly good to Lee Majors. I think that's what his name is. I could be wrong, but as you can see, pretty good likeness. It has the same thing when you look through the eye. As you can see, I can kind of this on camera is a little bit tricky. As you can see, you can kind of look through his eye, which is a feature that was reused very similar to Boba Fett. So let me show you. So as you can see, it's a feature that was used very similar to the 12-inch Boba Fett that Kenner made in the Star Wars line. So going down to his clothes here, as you can see, he's still got the Bionic Man logo on his shirt there, which is often missing on these figures, which actually both of mine actually have it, so that's actually pretty cool. And on the back, you have the cut out in the back for the lever that you push to do his arm. And now the reasoning on why I didn't try to demonstrate the lifting action with this figure is because you may not have noticed, but this figure still has, or my example here still has all the original rubber still on his arm, as you can see. Let me pull the shirt back down. You can see it. You can see it on his arm in there. As you can see, it's kind of hard to see in there, but I get the light in there good. But as you can see, there's all the original rubber still on his arm, and you're supposed to be able to roll, his, arm up and down to, show his bionics in his arm, and I'm not going to do that because that rubber is over 50 years old, and if I try to do that, it'll probably rip and tear. So I'm not going to do that. But luckily, I do have, a extra one here. I can show you the bionic features in his arm. So as you can see, you got the bionic features in his arm right there, which I think there's one up here too, if I can get his shirt sleeve. Let me set my camera down. So yeah, so as you can see, there's another bionic feature there in his arm. You're supposed to be able to roll that rubber up and see the bionics in his arm here. But like I said, with the extra one. The rubber's 50 years old now, so I'm not going to dare try to roll that up. But so going down his pants, very simple red pants. I think this video's been a little tricky to film too, because it's harder to film 12-inch figures, without being at weird angles and things like that. So try to get my light a little bit brighter. But now this figure also, has his own shoes and also has socks too. So not something getting a lot of 12-inch figures nowadays. So that's actually kind of neat. And it's supposed to be they're like red tennis shoes, red bottom there. So pretty cool. Pretty cool figure. I really enjoy this one. For a size comparison, here is this Bonnet Man figure compared to a G.I. Joe figure, sort of, as that's actually from the Indiana Jones line. But I kind of consider him a G.I. Joe because he's got the backwards thumbnail like a G.I. Joe, and they're both made by Hasbro. So I guess you can consider it a G.I. Joe. But as you can see, this Bonnet Man figure is actually a little bit taller than the standard 12-inch figure nowadays. And lastly, here he is compared to this 12-inch Captain America figure that I have. And I actually got this on clearance one time at Toys R Us when it closed. So I actually have a pretty good deal along with the X-Force Deadpool, which I don't actually have out with me right now. It's actually down the bottom of that box. That's why I didn't go and dig it out. But as you can see, Bonnie Man is actually still taller than Captain America. So what do I think of this figure overall? This is a pretty good figure. Very collectible figure too. Some of the ones are more collectible than others in this line. The Bigfoot figure with the piece still in the middle of his chest is actually pretty hard to find nowadays. This is the only one of these I have. They made Oscar Goldman and made Massacatron. Unfortunately, I don't have any of those others, but they made several different versions of this figure. So if you want to see some more retro reviews like this, give me a thumbs up. It'll help me a lot, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Till next time.